Hey there. So, in our crazy connected world, you'd think leadership would be all about strategy and numbers, right? Well, it turns out it's really about connecting with people from different cultures. But what happens when we get that wrong? Let's dive in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that should honestly make you pause. 70%. Get this, 70% of all international business ventures fail, not because of a bad product, not because of a flawed business model, but because of cultural differences.
That number is just staggering, and it forces us to ask a really big question. In a world with all this technology to bring us closer, why are we so bad at actually connecting? This isn't just a business problem, It's a human problem.
And look, this isn't some minor issue that only a few people worry about. Nope, we're talking about a massive consensus here. 90% of top executives from 68 different countries all say the same thing. Cross-cultural leadership is their #1 biggest challenge. For leaders today, this is the main event.
So, if the old ways of leading just aren't cutting it anymore, what's the answer? Well, it lies in a totally different kind of intelligence, one that goes way beyond the usual stuff we measure.
It's called cultural intelligence, or CQ for short. And honestly, you can think of it as your superpower for navigating this globalized world we live in. It's your ability to adapt, to relate, and to work well with people who are different from you, whether that's from another country, another ethnicity, or even just another department in your company. We all know about IQ, right? That's your book smarts. And we've all heard about EQ, your emotional intelligence. But CQ? CQ is that critical third piece of the puzzle. It's not about being the smartest person in the room, or even the most empathetic. It's about being the most adaptable.
Now, CQ isn't just one thing. You can break it down into 4 key skills. It all starts with your drive, your motivation to even try. Then comes your cultural knowledge. And those 2 things, they're the foundation for everything else, for building a strategy and putting it all into action. For today, we're going to focus on building that rock-solid foundation, your drive and your knowledge.
All right, let's start with that first pillar, CQ drive. You can think of this as the engine for your cultural intelligence. It's the why. It's what gets you out of bed, ready to connect and adapt across cultures. And here's the real kicker. CQ drive isn't just about being curious or feeling confident. At its absolute core, it's about your purpose. What is it that truly motivates you to step outside of what's comfortable and engage with a world that's different from you? Mark Twain just nailed this. He said, "The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why." That why, that's the fuel for your CQ drive. That's what gives you the grit to push through when things get tough. And when you have that clear sense of purpose, it changes everything. It gives your work meaning, it makes decisions way simpler, and it focuses your life. It's a source of motivation that never runs out, and in the long run, it prepares you for the kind of legacy you want to leave behind. A strong purpose is basically your anchor.
But all the motivation in the world won't help you if you don't know where you're going, right? It's just chaos. And that brings us to our second pillar, CQ knowledge. This is about having a map to help you navigate that complex cultural world out there.
The heart of CQ knowledge is understanding this idea of a worldview. The best way to think about it is like an invisible pair of glasses that every single person wears. It shapes how we all see reality. It's our deepest set of beliefs about what's right and wrong, what's real. It guides everything we do.
And we can break this big idea of a worldview down into 5 key parts. It covers our beliefs about spirituality or God, the nature of reality itself, how we know what's true, which is knowledge, our sense of right and wrong or morality, and finally, our basic understanding of humanity. These beliefs are deep, and they shape everything from how people negotiate to what they expect from a leader.
So why is understanding all these different worldviews so incredibly important right now? Just look at these numbers. Back in 1960, there were 3 billion people on the planet. Now we're over 8 billion, and we're heading towards almost 10 billion. We are interacting with more people from more backgrounds with more different worldviews than ever before in human history.
So, before we can even try to understand someone else's worldview, we have to start with our own. We have to turn that lens inward for a minute. Let's really think about this. What is your worldview?
Let's start with knowledge. So what is truth to you? Is it something you can only prove with hard data and facts? Or is it based on tradition? Or maybe faith? How you answer that question completely changes how you build trust and share information.
Next up, reality. Do you believe that what you see is what you get? Or do you think there are unseen forces at play, things like fate or spirituality? This totally shapes how you approach something like planning for the future or taking risks.
And finally, a huge one: humanity. What's your fundamental belief about people? Do you think people are generally good and motivated, or do they need to be managed closely? Your answer to that question directly shapes your entire leadership style.
So here's the bottom line. Your answers to these deep, kind of philosophical questions, they aren't just an academic exercise. Your worldview is actively and very powerfully shaping how you lead every single day. It shapes the decisions you make and your ability to truly connect with people.
So everything we've talked about, all this stuff about cultural intelligence, it really boils down to this one simple question. Because until you really understand the lens you're looking through, you'll never be able to truly understand and appreciate how someone else sees the world.